We overnight we helped transport students who were trapped at a middle school, trying to get them reunited with their parents. Those that we were unable to get reunited with their parents, we took them to the local Board of Education. We had troopers sit with them until we could get them reunited with their families. Overnight, we also brought in an RRT team from South Georgia. They helped with patrolling the streets to prevent any kind of looting, helping get power crews wherever they needed to get to, and we'll do the same tonight. We'll have that same resource overnight. We brought in additional resources for the early and the late shift. We have about 26 troopers and motor carrier officers that are on the ground now in Spalding County who are assisting Spalding County with all of their disaster recovery. Aviation has also been up helping the counties do damage assessment and reconnaissance missions this morning, and obviously DPS has committed any resource that we have, and we will obviously help and be with the counties and the locals until this is completed. So thank you.
Well, we'll let y'all hear from Director Stallings.
Excuse me. Thank you, Governor. Yesterday around 3 o'clock we saw our first rotation develop on radar in Troup County. From that point all afternoon we continued to see rotations develop. We have 4 confirmed tornado tracks as of right now in our state. Those areas hardest hit, as NWS described it, as a rapidly intense storm hit Spalding County. So if you're in that area today, we would ask you stay where you are. There are teams that are still trying to cut through the debris. We have a lot of roads that are still inaccessible. We want to make sure our power companies and our cut teams can get there. Overnight, DNR, Forestry Commission have been out doing their job. It's been extremely impressive to see how much they've been able to accomplish in just such a short amount of time. As the Governor mentioned, we do have a couple fatalities, and that is a result of debris falling. But just because the storm has passed, don't be shocked to find out that more trees are going to come down, limbs are going to break loose. There's still some wind and a front moving through, so anything that's loose will still fall. As the Governor mentioned, we have widespread damage statewide, so if you do have damage, make sure you're in contact with your local emergency management agency. They're going to be who helps you respond to that damage. They're going to take those calls, they'll start reporting that up so that we can be doing assessments. Our teams are out statewide doing assessments today, trying to determine what that damage does total up to. The National Weather Service is also conducting track investigations to determine the intensity of the storms that we saw yesterday, as well as the length of time that those were on the ground. We've got some reports that the one in Spalding County was on the ground for quite a long period of time, and at some points even as high as 5 miles wide. So it was an extremely powerful storm. And so I would just tell you today, be patient with us. We're doing the best we can inside the circumstances that we're working in, and we will get to you and help recover things as quickly as possible. If you're in those hardest hit areas though and you don't have power, don't expect it to be back on quickly, but do not go outside and start messing with down lines. Unfortunately, we have 2 fatalities already. We do not need to add to that because we have folks that are untrained trying to assist. And we appreciate all that you're doing out there. Again, our state agencies, we couldn't do this without them. And with that, Governor, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, we'll open it up for questions.
Lieutenant Governor, can you talk about the nature of the damage or what you know that's happened back in Butts County and Jackson area?
Well, the damage is significant. You know, talking to people on the ground there, you know, obviously our thoughts and prayers are with the family, the young child who was killed, you know, earlier this morning. But the damage is significant. But thanks to Governor Kemp's leadership and our team, men and women from DOT to GSP to, you know, all emergency responders are trying to help the locals and assist and assess and everything. And so I will, after when I get the opportunity to do a fly around, but also have opportunity to go home myself and assess it firsthand. But according to people on the ground there, it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Can you talk some more about the public employee who died and what the circumstances were?
Yeah, I don't know that we want to say a whole lot right now. I'm not 100% positive. Next of kin has been notified, so I'd rather delay and just we'll update you as soon as we got more information, unless you got something else. Okay.
Are we able to say what agency? Or you can spread out on that as well?
We can say that.
Yeah. DOT. Okay, anybody else?
What, do you have, Director Stallings, is there any count of injuries at this point?
Oh, yes, sir. There's widespread injuries. I mean, in Troup County alone, there's one subdivision with 50 homes where, there are 50 homes that have displaced individuals. Last night in Spalding, we had a shelter that sheltered 130 individuals. There's a lot of injuries. The fatality of the 5-year-old had a critically injured parent inside the vehicle with them that was transported. So there's a lot of debris. We've got families that seek shelter underneath their home, and then the home crumbled around them. So we had rescue teams out trying to dig homes off of folks. So we've got a lot of injuries. Unfortunately, that's one of those, but it sure beats the alternative. Fortunately, the 2 fatalities is all we have right now.
And I know last night I was getting reports from the folks at Piedmont Spalding that they had over a dozen injured folks come into the hospital. Thankfully, none of those, I don't believe, turned into fatalities, but there's definitely some injuries out there. We know of people that were stranded in homes where literally the whole house collapsed and they were under the crawl space, and we're trying to get to folks like that right now. Still have individuals that are unaccounted for that we got to figure out where they are. I mean, they could be sheltering somewhere else, or they could be waiting to get cut out. So that's why we don't want to disrupt things on the ground today. We still have a lot of work to do.
Do you have an estimation of economic damage?
We wouldn't be able to tell that right now. That's a main priority of GEMA, certainly, but our first is life and safety issues and restoring power and those type things, necessities for people. So we'll do that, and then we'll assess the economic damage.
There was talk of the high school in Griffin had been hit. Is there any other notable public infrastructure that's been damaged?
Not significant. I mean, there's a lot of buildings that have lost roofs. There's a lot of those. Our school systems, roadways are the big issue right now. Just the straight line winds. Just because there wasn't a tornado in your area, the front of this storm was moving 50, 60, sometimes 75 mile per hour straight line winds. So that's toppling trees regardless of rotation. So a lot of the stuff is still, sun's coming up. We're getting assessments now.
I think one of the things I was getting reports on last night, and we had power lines down across roads that you couldn't get to that was, obviously damaging roads. I saw a media report this morning where a rail car had been blown off the tracks. I mean, so that's significant winds and tornado activity. So this is a very strong storms, multiple, as I said earlier, that we're dealing with. It's going to take us a little while to fully assess when and where and, how much damage it was.
Governor, is there any thought about seeking federal assistance, federal emergency declaration?
Well, we'll certainly do that if we qualify. I mean, that's one of the things that Director Stallings, unfortunately, the GEMA team is well versed in. We'll absolutely do that if we meet the qualifications. But we'll keep you guys posted the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, sir. Thank you.